have our two new collab characters, and arguably the most memorable girly of the patch, Lucy. While I am a Rebecca fan personally, I can't deny that Lucy left a strong impression on me back when I watched Cyberpunk Edgerunners, which is a while ago, but she still has a special place in my heart. Me saying I really want to stay at your house up and down is proof alone of that. So I'm really excited to take a closer look at what is practically Lucy 1-to-1 in 3D. From the front, you may already have noticed that her hair is white. Rest assured, this confused me too, but it appears her colors are rendered in the game engine rather than as a texture on the model itself. Perhaps for special effects for each hair segment? I'm unsure. Aside from this, we have her bodysuit, her jacket, her shorts, somewhat leggings, and her long boots. From the side, Lucy's bob or undercut is slightly slanted upwards, just like in the show. Partially for fashion, but I believe here it's also to support her deep dive port better. Other than that, we can only see Lucy's accurate proportions, I'd say, and the little heels on her boots. The back looks kind of uncanny. Perhaps because we don't see Lucy from this angle in the show often, and even if, it's not this detailed. Here we have her port as mentioned, sticking out from the undercut, her jacket sloping back off her shoulders, the texture of her bodysuit, which we'll look at closer later, the back, and the bunching of her leggings. The last side, besides her fringe, is mirrored 1-to-1, so let's go back to the top. From the top, as I've mentioned, Lucy's hair is rendered in-game. I think this is still cool to look at though, as we have a stark difference between the projection surface of the hair and her very detailed and more contrasting undercut. Her bangs are parted with one half being swept over and covering her forehead, with the one long iconic strand of hair going down past her shoulders. The other side is swept back to part behind her ear with a shorter, more aligned strand at the front. Lucy's makeup, however, isn't projected, and is absolutely insane. I was kind of worried they wouldn't get the triangular makeup right, as no front to any of the designers, but for example in Guilty Gear, it looked a little bland? Pixelated perhaps? It might be the simpler art style's fault though. Instead of Guilty Gear, maybe let's just look at this. Regardless, Lucy's eyes are lined in her iconic red liner, going under the black eyelash and black eyeliner, and having a larger pointed triangle under the eyes. The iris is kept as close to the show as possible with the 3 separated colors, but we also have the Wuwa type of sparkles and highlights. Not only that, but she also has her other types of irises. In Wuwa, it's her old form, I believe, in this model. She wears quite vibrant lipstick, with her upper lip being outlined smaller than her lower one, and her eyebrows are permanently angled downward. They can obviously be changed though, with her visual mesh. Just like the other characters, Lucy has the basic visual mesh with different brows, eye shapes, and mouth movements. Funnily enough though, her tongue is much more detailed than our usual ones, for some reason. Removing her hair, Lucy actually is fully bald. I say this not to slander her, but because usually everything not needed of the head under the hair gets cut out to avoid clipping. I believe with how movie her hair is though, and how high that deep dive port is, they just kept it. It even has little stubble. The side of her neck has her interface slots, or if I recall correctly, the neural sync ports, I think? Please forgive me if I mess up any of these names. I've watched Edgerunners back when it came out. With the hair removed, the deep dive port embedded at the back of her head is also much more visible. While it isn't as 3D as I would have liked per se, we don't really have much of an indicator for depth in the anime either, so the amount of sheer detail in this is peak enough. Moving further down, we have Lucy's bodysuit. Her bodysuit opens up at the front, or rather at the top, being held up like a collar by these stiffer red, probably metallic pieces. It also has the usual Kuro type writing or barcode at the front. Aside from those, the upper half of her bodysuit has lines, red stripes with a hexagon pattern, and the red protruding part in the center. Taking off her jacket, her arms only have the lines near the shoulders and nothing else all the way until her wrist. Moving down to the underside of her wrist and her hand, she has her personal link and her monowire, which despite obviously looking like a way different material and texture, they still fit in quite well. While her nails don't really have anything of note, since Hiyaki, the model started to have more detailed hands, and Lucy is no exception. Her hands have very visible bones and veins, which, while cool on the model, I do have to admit this looks really sick, it does make the texture a bit scary. While we have that jacket off, let's look at the rest of the bodysuit. In the game, the suit is much shinier and reflecting nicely to whatever environment you're in. However, what you might have missed is the inset skin shading on it to show the bodysuit stretching over certain areas, like a ribcage, obviously. I also like that the bodysuit isn't just straight, but also has some folds in it, and despite being quite dark, it also has indents for the belly button. The back has similar shading for the very pronounced shoulder blades and spine, as well as more lines and red detail. Putting the jacket back on, it's a simple white and black jacket with some red at the front and black boxes at the back. While it may not look like much, they've really played around with lots of textures and weathering, which you'll see more of later, to make the very simple to remember base design fit into the world of WuWa. Also, funnily enough, both the jacket and the wrist have her personal link. So when the jacket eventually gets taken off, it doesn't disappear. Though I'm not really sure if you're able to accidentally see both on the same model in-game. Further down, we have her belt as well as the end of the bodysuit holding up her white shorts and her cyberdeck, which really has some visible scratches, as well as lots of details like the ports at the top, some textured back, and the lights at the front. Also, she has very nice skin shading. While I can't take the shorts off because she doesn't have skin under here, what we do have underneath them is her leggings. They're only a simple purple with lines to match her bodysuit, but I like the detail of them bunching and creasing around the knee where her shoes start. Talking boots, they start all the way at the knee with a cutout for the front and the back. They have similar red markings to her bodysuit, as well as a very interesting checkered texture with lots of scratches and indented small pieces. I don't remember if it was mentioned somewhere that her shoes are metal or some other material, as they continue all the way down to the actual heel. Though since they're creasing down here, and I think metal shoes would be very uncomfortable, I don't think they are. Perhaps they're a less thicker plastic, since they seem to hold a sharp edge at the front quite well. I'm not really sure though. The foot part has more red lines around the front and the back, as well as on the probably actual metal heel. The heel, aside from the red part, is weathered quite a lot on the in and outside, while the underside just has a normal shoe imprint and nothing else. While I for sure will be looking at Rebecca as well, and you can quote me on this, but I will probably repeat myself, I really think Lucy fits well into the world of Wuwa. Setting both franchises' trauma aside, I think the model was also really well made, with the many different textures and folds to make her feel more 3D. Anyways, as I've said, Rebecca is probably next. I hope you enjoyed and have a nice day. Bye bye.